This is Don't Panic, episode number 398, recorded March 3rd, 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that always bets on black. I'm Shaun Jennings, joined by a couple of guys with aces up their sleeves. It's Colby Rabideau and Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Hi, Shaun.
I just got back from Las Vegas, so I got the big bucks on the brain.
How'd you do, Shaun?
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing, right? I gambled $0, not a penny. So I left with every dollar I brought because I was working. So no, this was a disappointment because I do like a little bit of gambling, but didn't get to it this time, unfortunately. Yeah. Kind of
Wait,
yeah.
Has Riverside changed?
In
I started
what
trying
way?
to close these tabs, and now it's yelling at me that I can't close these tabs. There's a separate uploading tab now?
No? What? I'm using the desktop app.
Me too. Okay, I'm just gonna close these tabs anyways, even though it tells me not to. You let me know if I fuck
like
something
the
up,
desktop
Shaun.
app.
No, I'm all on the web, baby. Come on.
The web. I mean, I was gonna say I like the desktop app, but it makes me type in my name every time, which I think is irritating. Like, I do exactly one thing with this application, which is I open it up, I paste in the same link I paste in every week, and I type in my name.
Well,
I type in the same name.
to be fair, every week Matt tries to put in a new funny name, and I don't know if he realizes that it's not on the recording, so I'm the only one who ever sees it. It does make me laugh, but
You should put it in the description
I should.
of the podcast.
Was it
this week?
was it
Matt's
last
name
week? He
was.
changed his name 3 times during the episode because he kept thinking of other funny variants. So I said, all right.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Guess that counts. So, and I do actually have the ability. I think on this show, I do put our names on the screen. So be careful what you wish for. Guys, what's going on? What's good? What's the latest?
In a minute.
Yeah, what was happening the last time we talked?
Well, it was like a month ago. So we basically
It was exactly a month ago.
we squeezed in one episode in February. Fine, it's a short month anyway. No, like I said, I was just in Las Vegas last week for the International Builder Show, the biggest builder show in America, and it was busy and packed. I will tell you, and that's about the extent of it. There was no technology I did want to brag about. I went and saw a Golden Knights. I know you guys are big Golden Knights fans.
Soccer?
Dan, would you be surprised to tell you that plunk in the middle of the Nevada desert is a hockey team called the Golden Knights?
I knew that there was a Las Vegas hockey team, but I didn't know that that's what it was called.
They won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago.
There you go.
To be honest, if I hadn't seen your Instagram story, I'm not sure that I would have known it was a hockey team.
They're wonderful. They put on a great show because they're all like Knights themed. So they have like a knight on skates. He comes out and fights a dragon in the pre-show. And I just want to show off. It was bobblehead night. So I got the Chance, who is the mascot, the Gila Monster. I got a bobblehead.
Nice.
Of my boy Chance. So, little flag and everything. So, it was a very nice time. Would recommend if you're in town.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Probably have to go on
It's
this.
possible, as someone who follows John Roderick on Instagram, Colby, did you see his report from the National Association of Truck Stop Operators conference that was in Las Vegas, possibly last week at the same time? Did you get to interact with any of those people?
I did interact with the people at the Remax Realtor Conference, which was also in town at the time.
Wow.
But no, I didn't see any truck drivers.
You get all types in Las Vegas. It's a real melting pot.
When we were there was it was like the bodybuilding, the big like bodybuilding competition was there. And so there's some like really intense looking people walking. Very aggressive spray tans.
I will tell you a technology angle to this. So this year specifically, we were in, I mean, it's huge. The convention center has got multiple halls. It's massive, but kind of right next to our area was an area of international booths. And so what it is it's mostly China. They buy, like the government buys like 100 booths and dole them out to companies who are all selling like the generic versions of things and you can just buy them. But what happens is, and it's happened in past years, but it's really bad this year, is the spies come by our booth. And it's literally people with phones and with cameras, and they come around and start trying to take pictures of everything, and they try to get information out of you and steal product because they literally want to copy your screws. Now, they're screws. It doesn't sound like anyone really cares, but they basically want to want to knock it off. And so right away you can tell when they're like just being quiet and like quietly like taking pictures of things, and you got to shoo them off. We had a lot of spies this year, so with all due respect.
Very interesting. Wow.
Now, do you have to put
Trade
up
war.
signs, no photos or anything like that, or you just spot them and bounce them?
We spot them and bounce, but here's the thing: there's very little that, like, if I just handed, like, it's not that secret. Like, I don't know why you just go to the store and buy the screws. Like, there's nothing. There was one year we went to the show and we brought a new screw to the show that had some technology in it that wasn't for sale yet. That we had to protect with our lives. That was like nobody walks away with one. But everything we had this year, you can just go to the store and buy.
Did you have to do it with like the open air drug markets where there's like a black curtain and you have to step behind the black curtain and there's one person there and they'll give you one showing of the screw, one person at a time?
I mean, literally, we had to tell, like, we're like, you can't, and they'd be like, it's a screw, I can't take it. Like, no, you put it back. Like, you cannot take it. And they were very confused. But, you know, it's espionage. We can't have that.
Some good old corporate espionage. We really are living in the cyberpunk post-apocalyptic future.
We really are.
Damn.
I'm really the Johnny Mnemonic of screws. That's a good episode title. I'm gonna write that one down. I have
That was a good one.
The Johnny Mnemonic of screws.
So anyway, it was a hoot. I'm thrilled to be back. A week is way too long to be in lovely Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
Brutal. Although, God, I ate good. You know, I eat more raw fish in Las Vegas than just about anywhere else. It's so fantastic. I should send you guys a picture on the Slack.
Not a place I would think would have good raw fish.
Well, it's because they get it all flown in.
Actually, it has the same
restaurants.
It's the same problem as the hockey team, really.
Yes.
You gotta import it.
Yeah, but they're close enough to like lobster. I wouldn't get lobster, but West Coast fish. You know, you're kind of close. I mean, you're not that far from Las Vegas, Dan.
Closer than you are right now, but
That's true.
I wonder by how much. It's pretty far.
Is there an app for that?
Let's see. If I were to drive to Las Vegas, Nevada right now, it would take me 18 hours. What about if I went to Springfield, Massachusetts? Probably longer than 18 hours.
Shaun, one thing from going to Vegas is that it was kind of hard to like get vegetables. Like everything you ate was like meat, sushi.
Yeah. And you know what's, Colby, what I'm about to say is 100% real. It is not a joke. Leaving Las Vegas, I thought to myself, I ate more fruits and vegetables this week than I normally do. So that says something about my average diet. Like literally, I got like French toast for breakfast and they put some blueberries and strawberries on. I'm like, whoa, fruit.
Oh my God.
I am in terrible shape. Yes, no, I agree with you. It is a lot of meats. Small to no sides, so you're really just downing the meats or pastas. A lot of pastas,
right?
You know, the general people please. I can't take. You know, I go to the show with 20 other colleagues, and I kind of help arrange the dinners. I can't go anywhere fun. I can't go anywhere interesting because I took them. I sent you guys a photo of some wonderful looking nigiri and sushi that I had, but I love that restaurant. I can't take anyone there because I don't like fish. Well, I only like cooked fish. You know, they go and get the steak at the famous sushi place. I'm like, come on. Drives me crazy. So I end up eating pretty boring.
Yep. It's hard.
Tough life. Tough life. I don't know how I do it every day.
Shaun, I don't know if I would have necessarily expected you to be a sushi person.
I'm a picky sushi. And by picky, I mean quality. Like, sushi in Massachusetts, I have yet to find any I'm really like, whoa. But I've been to this restaurant before and they do the thing where they're like, here's a dollar amount and we give you a plate with a bunch of fish on it and you don't get to choose and we just tell you what you like. I like restaurants that do that. I actually went to 2 restaurants in Vegas like that. I don't want to pick. I don't know what's good and what's not good. The chef can just put a collection of food together. I trust them. And that's never steered me wrong. So Sushi Roku, if you're ever in not the TV brand, but the restaurant, if you're ever in Las Vegas, check it out.
That's one of the screensavers on Roku TV.
Certainly looked like it tasted good. What else is going on, guys, outside of my once a year adventure?
I've been doing a lot, even more home improvement stuff.
Excellent.
Did we do the baby technology episode yet? I think we kind of talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
I haven't really done any of that stuff yet, but 2 weeks ago, we put up wallpaper, which was surprisingly difficult. Like, I always thought it would be finicky, especially because we got wallpaper that it's not just a pattern, it's an image. And so, yeah, exactly.
You have to like line it up.
Yes, and the panels are not interchangeable. But you always have to line wallpaper up, but the panels are not interchangeable. But one thing, so in the instructions, it's like, lay the wallpaper down on the ground and cut it to size, and then measure your wall where that panel is going to be and cut it to size and then put it up. One problem is this room is so small that if you do that, you would just be stepping on the entire floor would be wallpaper. The other problem is that the roof, not the roof, I mean, the roof is slanted, but the ceiling is slanted. And so, like, how you can't just cut straight across. And so how do you know at what angle to cut? And I after a couple minutes, I was like, well, this is just the classic trigonometry problem, because I know how wide the panel is, and I know how tall it is on the left and the right. And so then there's just like an a squared plus b squared equals c squared thing. And then once I have that, you can get the angle. And then once you have the angle, you can just cut it. But I had nothing to measure an angle with on the ground. So I was able to do all this math and be like, yes, it's 26.85 degrees. But it did me no good.
What does that mean?
Because, like, how do I freehand cut with just a ruler 26.85 degrees? And I had a triangle, and this is something maybe you know this from the builders conference, Shaun. I had a triangle, like a right angle triangle. And on it has degree markers.
Yes.
And I was like, what the hell good does that do? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I could put the ruler on top of it. Like, I didn't know how to use that.
You just mostly just use it to notch it, and then you got to pull out another straight and mark it. But Dan, I'll drop a little fun fact knowledge on you. The technical name for that thing is a speed square.
A speed square?
Yes, you can look that up. That is 100% true. I did not make that up.
Wow.
Yes,
that's exactly what I have.
Yep, they're very handy. There's another. Hang on, keep talking. Let me grab some out of my claws.
No, I mean, that was pretty much it. And so we just had to freehand it. And so we took like a couple measurements along the angle. I mean, the thing we didn't realize either until we did it is that the roof is not a completely perfect, even 26.85 degrees all the way, you know?
Have you ever seen one of these?
I have seen one of those. I don't have one.
Non-speed square. Slow square.
It's a slow square. And it's not called a slow square, but it is adjustable in both directions. So that you can use this to actually then mark it's very complicated. And I give you a lot of credit, Dan. It's not easy. I will say there are certain jobs I admire because I know I could never do. And I've had the opportunity in my career to a couple times work with the guys who professionally apply those giant wall and window graphics, where it's an image, so you really can't screw it up because it has to be precisely lined up. And they make it look so easy, and it's actually incredibly complicated. So,
yeah. I just posted the image in the chat. We mostly pulled it off. What you can't see because Lena's standing in the way is that we cut it a little bit too short on the right, so there's a little gap. But
oh, that's look, it looks like the mountains.
Yeah, miraculously we pulled it off.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. It looks awesome. Here was the other learning, as they say in business these days, was I got the vinyl peel and stick wallpaper because I'm like, what? It can't be easier than peel and stick. Peel and stick sounds great. I don't even know what's involved in normal wallpaper, but this has got to be easier. And it only is, I think, if you can cut it down to size perfectly, because it's so thick. I learned later that if you have the wet wallpaper, you can just apply the wallpaper. You make sure that the bottom lines up on all your panels, and you just apply it straight up to the ceiling, cut it, and then peel it off the ceiling, and boom, done. But the vinyl is so thick, you can't make that perfect angle unless you have already cut it. So that was my other learning, is peel and stick is probably easier if you have perfectly rectangular walls, because then it's probably way easier to cut ahead of time. If you don't, and you have to get it into these nooks and crannies, it's very finicky.
I had one of my, actually, I should say most of my home improvement projects end badly, but one of the worst among them was I did peel and stick vinyl floor tiles in a bathroom once. And they're super thick. They're super difficult to cut because, like, yours were like big sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So at least there was, with the tiles, there's so many opportunities for them to come unstuck, including, by the way, if you put them under a toilet and then put the toilet on them, they do this. So the other side's, my God, it was a nightmare. Oh, it came out so bad. Don't ever do that. You're better off just doing a sheet of linoleum, to be honest with you. Don't do the peel and stick tiles.
That is good to know. And like, have those held up with moisture?
I mean, I never had an issue, but also we were really careful with, I don't recall there being, like I said, it was mainly just around the toilet. And then the problem is because it was so thick and hard to cut, it was hard to get really clean lines around the edges. And so as you went around, it just didn't, it looked like I installed it, aka not great.
Yeah. So the wallpaper, that was our biggest success. We got a crib on Craigslist, essentially. Craigslist crib, and it was missing parts. So that was fun. Although apparently all cribs are built with like the same screws. I don't know, the barrel nuts where like you put this screw in a giant hole, and then I think some IKEA furniture you have to do this too. You stick this barrel nut in at the end of a Phillips screwdriver and you rotate it so that you feel the other screw make a connection.
Cam lock.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, cam locks. It's I don't know, maybe it's a different name for the same thing, but
it could be.
Yes, I love flat pack furniture. Oh God, I love flat pack furniture. Oh,
we are missing those. But on Amazon they just sell you a crib screw kit apparently. Yeah. So the crib is half assembled. Nice. And then once that's done, it'll be sort of all the big pieces will be there. So that is my home improvement update.
And that's it.
That's it.
Wow. Infrastructure.
We put the garden in also yesterday, 2 days ago. And that went so much faster after you've already done it once before. I mean, you know what the hell you're doing.
Now, are you
amazing
planting anything different this year?
We are planting, last year, by far our most successful crop was peas. And so we are doing 3/4 peas and 1/4 new crop lettuce. Our thought was go with easiest shit that you cannot screw up this year. Very low maintenance. So
that's smart, because I feel like you can eat a lot of lettuce.
Yes,
like
can.
Everyone I know who grows
it is useful in many scenarios.
Everyone I know who grows like zucchini is like, you can only eat so much zucchini. Like that's not, they end up having way too much zucchini.
Yeah, that's true. The problem with lettuce is there's a very short window where it tastes good and it like keeps growing, but it gets bitter. And like, then it's just like super bitter, like leaves.
Oh, that's a good,
which are not like usually.
That's a good call. How do you know when it's ready? You just munch one?
I have no idea. Yeah. It's like, I think when we had it, the kind we had, you could like pick leaves off and like, the plant would keep growing new ones, which was convenient because you could in fact just pop one off and munch it. But yeah, that's a thing where it's like whatever. I don't know. There are probably like, it probably depends on like what kind of lettuce you have, like when it's like ready to go. But it's a thing. It's a thing to consider.
Now, are you, Dan, concerned about critters in the garden this year?
Not really. It's not rising to the top of our concern.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's
concern. I'm not concerned. I'm aware. But this time we've also more prepared. So we have our little Fort Knox chicken wire fence. We have our bird Fort Knox netting that we can put over it. It doesn't seem like there's anything you can do about the bugs, and so
some bugs are good.
Some bugs are good. Did I tell you that last year? I think I told you we got a like wildlife trail camera to try to see what was eating stuff, and we never really found out. And then I realized several months later that someone stole our wildlife trail camera because it was just not there anymore, which was not something I had considered.
Well, I was going to pivot over and ask our other gardener, Colby, if you're planning anything for your garden this coming year. It's coming up.
It is. Probably, but like we haven't made any plans yet, any real plans. The thing, my biggest regret is that we have the hydrangeas that you have to cut back in the fall. Otherwise, they don't bloom. Like if you cut them in the spring, they won't have flowers. And knowing this full well, I did not get around to cutting them, cutting them back in the fall. And now it's March. Like for the last, forever. For every 2 weeks I've been like, man, I gotta go out there and cut and it's too late now. So
Yeah, they could take a year off.
yeah, right. And that's the problem is last year was a great hydrangea year, so they're huge. They're absolutely massive, and our garden's not that big. So, we'll see. Maybe I can do some like selective pruning so they don't get in the way of the gate or anything. But yeah. Nothing crazy going on.
Well, maybe this will be the year, Colby. I push you every year. I want you to get a 4G security camera out there that you can monitor remotely.
Or just, can you get line of sight into your apartment?
Well,
Do the microwave antenna thing. Build a giant tower in the middle of your garden.
I'm sure the other gardeners would love that. What's up with the dude with a satellite dish?
Unfortunately, there's a pretty strict like height limit in the garden.
So what happens if something you plant grows too tall? You just gotta...
Yeah, you gotta cut it down. There's stuff that's like, there are things that are grandfathered in that like existed before they like, made the rules. So there are some people that have like, a decent sized tree or something in their garden. But yeah, anything new.
I guess
can
at a
be
certain point
over,
it would
like,
just
5
shade
feet.
the other plots too much.
Yeah, it shaves the other plots, and like the park rangers get angsty when they can't like see, through all the way through, because people do a lot of weird stuff.
And that's
in
why
the
you need a
garden.
camera.
That's true.
I don't know, man. I think you'd see a lot of things you don't want to see. based on the detritus that one finds in the morning in the garden paths. I don't think you want to.
Or your camera would just get
think you wanna
stolen.
know.
I don't know, but
Yeah, right. High likelihood. Shiny objects
Dang.
would probably
Well,
disappear.
I'll keep suggesting it.
Yeah. Maybe the technology will develop where it's like small enough or something.
Or you make it a YouTube live stream, put ads on it, pays for itself.
Hey,
It could be the next big sensation.
legitimately, I would watch that. That's Patreon material. I'd pay for that. Every month, the latest on the garden.
Supercut of people pooping.
Well, I was
and
about to say
stuff.
that's the premium tier. Like, there's the basic tier, and then there's like that $8 a month sort of ultra premium.
Right, the
The
uncut.
too hot for TV stuff. Well, that's wonderful. Let's see. Dan, let me
Yes.
ask you this. A month ago in our last episode, at the end, you said, I want to talk about something next time. Do you remember what that was?
No.
I don't either, but I did write down Dan's new approach to technology.
Oh, okay. Now I remember.
Okay, I'm curious. I've been staring at this for a month on my desk, and I'm dying to know.
Let's see. It definitely started in January when we were in Hawaii, and I was like, you know what I don't want to be having anything to do with right now is the internet. And so I evicted all of the apps from my phone, but there were still leaks. So I have developed, and I don't know if I need to like pull it up and figure it out. I have developed a series of meticulously maintained filters and block words that apply to my Gmail. So all of these like I sign up for like the Axios Seattle local news. I only get the Seattle local news about 1 out of every 15 days at this point, when it just happens to not mention one of these blocked words. And unfortunately, NetNewsWire, my previous favorite RSS reader, does not support this functionality. So I switched to Tapestry, which not only does it, but it also supports all kinds of different sources. So you can, put in your Blue Sky account and it'll connect to all your Blue Sky things, or you can just put in one Blue Sky account. And so you can put in like the Washington Department of Transportation Blue Sky account to get like emergency alerts, and not have a Blue Sky account. which is amazing. So I highly recommend Tapestry. But what all of this has done is it has a little bit broken the cycle. And now I don't want to check these things anymore, and I feel way better about it. I find myself less, like, initially I was like, oh my god, how am I going to... Oh, it also supports subreddits. So I was like, you know what I miss? I miss the Super Smash Bros. Subreddit. So like, boop, I'm just gonna add that back in. And now I don't, someday they're probably gonna shut this down, but I don't need to go to Reddit and be like, oh, have you seen this like /r/ UK politics where like so-and-so dunked on so-and-so? I'm like, no, like I don't have to see that anymore. You can subscribe to YouTube channels. Videos containing things that aren't in the title is still a bit of an issue. But Tapestry will also look in the image name. It'll look in the, like, what do they call it? Open API. What's the thing called where you make an embed, Colby, and then your website has the embed metadata and whatever that thing is. It'll like expand that thing.
Open graph stuff.
Open graph. It'll expand that thing, look in the rendered HTML, and if those things contain any of your words, it'll block the whole item. And it's been great. Like, yeah, now I'm not worried about missing things, because there was a part of me that was like, oh, I'm on Reddit because like I really care about this one thing, but in this sea of other things. Or I'm on Twitter because, oh, what if there's like an earthquake or something and I need to be on Twitter? But now I get all of these things without any of the algorithmic driven insanity generating stuff. And so that is like the first level. I think
that's the first level. There's more levels.
Yeah, I think at first that was great, right? It's like, oh, I'm looking at my phone less and I'm less stressed out, and that's nice. But I've found now that I care, like, I've been contemplating now, I'm like, what if I don't even need to read The Verge anymore? What if, like, because like what even is this? Like, what am I getting out of this? Like, how often do I read a Verge story that is like truly interesting and relevant, and how often am I reading it just in case it's interesting and relevant? And that chasing that kind of chasing of the dragon of waiting for the dopamine hit of finding something in the sea of stuff that's really good has been reduced, because now almost everything is really good. And when I see the Verge feed in my Tapestry thing, it's annoying because I don't care about most of it. And so now I'm realizing I don't care about most of this stuff. Unfortunately, I mean, maybe there is a way in Tapestry to do like an inverse thing. Oh, one great thing I added to Polygon, I subscribed to Polygon too. I filtered out on Polygon the word how to.
Yeah.
How to get the newest Infinity Nikki skin. It's like, don't care. How to catch the whatever Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Don't care. Like anything that starts with how to, I do not care. So, and that has also been great. So that has been changing my approach, where like, I think the thing I didn't realize, I think I knew intellectually a year ago that like, oh, staring at your phone is bad, the dopamine hit of the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't realize that was also infecting other things, the way that I conduct other parts of my life. Like I need like the newest and best thing, or I need to know about the newest and best thing even.
This is great.
Now it's a pleasant surprise. So like the other day, a friend messaged me and was like, "Oh my god, did you hear about the new framework thing?" And I was like, "No, I didn't hear about it." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And so, sometimes you get these little surprises. It's okay not to know about all the things that are happening.
This seems like a wonderful app. I'm definitely going to look into it, because I definitely think I can also streamline. My problem now is I was a very big Twitter user for reading. I learned a lot. I don't have time to really invest in it, but there are certain things I don't want to miss. But there's also a lot of crap. But I'm curious, Dan. You don't have to tell me what you've blocked, but I want to know.
Oh, I'm happy to.
Well, okay. My question was going to be...
Can you share your block list?
When you open the app, I'm curious, what does like being Dan look like? Like you've distilled all of your interests and what you want to be in the world to a single app. What does that look like?
Can you do the iPhone sharing to your computer thing?
I'm very curious.
I can't, because I'm on my work laptop right now and they disabled that. So it's I do keep my Mastodon follows wholesale, because it's mostly nerdy tech stuff. So there's some people posting stuff about that. I found a new word I should block, which would be Robert and or Kennedy in the same sentence. That one slipped through. I should probably also at this point block measles. Lots of people still talking about that. Someone talking about a programming conference. Oh, Daring Fireball RSS feed. Someone talking about a Chinese like learning app that helps you learn the different characters. Someone built a helicopter. Maybe I should also block the word Ukraine.
I think, you know what, Colby, I think you and I on the show right here get to pick one word Dan has to block.
Ooh.
And it can't be like or anything. It has to be like a legitimate word. But what is a funny word that Dan would have to block?
I'm gonna pull up. Oh, and another. Did I recommend I Can't Even on this show yet?
I think so.
So that's another key component, because now if I go to a website, all of these divs also get blanked out too. So like, I also can't stumble across things that make me engage.
You're the anti-algorithm.
I thought you meant you blocked the phrase "I can't even." This is like I see self-censorship sort of.
Yeah, let me try to. Now, one thing I wish was that I could just keep one of these block lists in one place and they would all read from it, because I have to update my Gmail, my Tapestry, and my I Can't Even all at the same time, and so there's some words that are only in one and not the other.
That's not a bad idea. The master block list.
Yeah, it's like spam filtering, but for your peace of mind.
Could you do that? Like, this is the kind of thing. Could you do that on like a router level?
No, only if they dynamically like request the stuff, but I think they just keep it in the app. I may have posted this already, but I reposted I Can't Even.
It'd be cool if you could do it at a router level. You could have your own mini like police state.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you'd have to like rebuild the China firewall thing where you have like you man in the middle yourself, you decrypt all traffic, read all packets.
I mean, you're in a perfect position to do it, right?
Yeah, all that stuff is just right over there. There might be some duplicates. Elon Musk, A16Z, Doge, TikTok tariff, Andreessen inauguration, Harris Walls, Biden, Trump. That's on I Can't Even. Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, Vance.
Jeez. Must be hard to stay up on top of all this as it changes by the day.
You have your Tapestry, and normally it's RSS or Mastodon, because those are like my only in mass feeds at this point. And you see a new one and you add it. So what was the one I said I was going to add?
Ukraine.
Robert and/or Kennedy.
Oh, and it supports regular expressions too, of course, Colby. So
I see. Dan, I think that you should offer suggested block words as a service. Like, you should make a Mastodon account or something that, like, you know, when something hits a critical mass and it's like, well,
it's
here's another
Twitter
one.
Trending topics.
Right.
And once it hits number one, it becomes blocked.
Ukraine. Right. And
Zelensky.
Here's the thing, like, part of me does feel bad about this, but I also feel really good having done this. And so it's like, there's the abstract high-minded thing, which is like, oh, I need to be aware of what's happening in the world, and then maybe if I'm aware, someday I'll like do something and it'll matter. And then there's the like, it makes me physically ill. So I can only really obey the first one.
I feel like I still look at like the New York Times sometimes.
Oh, my New York Times is just empty divs as far as the eye can see. Let me check.
Dan
today.
Can't Even.
Here's my New York Times.
Oh no, he broke it.
There's absolutely nothing above the fold. In fact, and if I had blocked Ukraine, I would have to scroll even further down to see anything.
That's funny.
I don't know if you can see that. I scrolled past the Ukraine stuff, and now it just says 2-minute read.
Well, for you, it's not.
And then the next one I get is Justice Department, blah, blah, blah.
Justice Department, that's a good block.
I'm also thinking of words like forced out, like forced out.
Resigned.
Who forced you out? Like, no, fuck it. I'm just
Yes.
going to block the whole thing. Forced out.
Honestly, Dan, I'm going to get you one of those children's books that when you open up the page to the cow, it goes moo. I think that's the kind of experience you're looking for on your device. And then you flip the page, and it's got a picture of a sheep, and it goes, bah, That's about
yeah,
how
that would
limited
be
you
nice.
want your world experience.
This is kind of tangential, but recently Tweet.systems, the Twitter RSS feed generator, started working sometimes.
Wow.
Not reliably. I don't know if it's like a bug or they did something where your free API account gets like some paltry number of like tweet reads a month or something. Every like week or two, I'll get results from one Twitter feed subscribed to in my RSS reader, which is fascinating because it's usually like the last like 9 months of tweets from the accounts, so you can just catch up like way after.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was just thinking like, man, Tapestry would be great if I could feed specific Twitter accounts into it, but there's no way to do that. Now, Dan, I believe, don't we have a new the House of the Dragon season coming up? Are you going to use this for spoilers?
I could, but I'm probably not going to watch that until May anyways. In fact, isn't there already a season 2? Or is there a season 3? I only watched the first season.
I also only watched it.
Never seen any of it, so I couldn't tell you.
Are you thinking of The Last of Us, which I...
Yes, well, that is coming up as well.
Right.
Let's see. Episodes. Yeah, the second season came out. I think they're working on the third right now. I just don't know when it comes.
I'm trying to like let all the Mac stuff pile up, and then I'm gonna like get it for a month.
Smart.
Fresh it.
Let all the Max
The
stuff.
HBO crap.
Got it.
All the
Yes.
HBO series.
That is what I do. It is great.
You know, that would be a fun, like, when we run out of things to talk about, which will probably be next week, is that we pick one streaming service and we just list our must-watches on it. And it's like, this month, you can pay for Peacock. And these are the 5 things you must watch on Peacock.
I misspelled tariff. That's why I had that on the New York Times. God damn it.
Oh man,
That's a big one. That's a biggie. Crypto. You got crypto blocked?
crypto.
No. But I have... Well, that's a good one. I should add Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Crypto.
Melania.
I haven't seen that, but sure.
I feel like no one's talked about her since the inauguration.
That's what they want you to think.
What a time to be alive.
It is.
Dan, I downloaded this Tapestry app and I added some feeds and I was like, I don't really get it.
You don't get it.
So I stopped using it.
Oh, like just in the last 10 minutes?
No, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever they like launched their like soft launch their beta or something. I saw that on Mastodon. I was like,
I think the thing that is compelling about it is that you can use it to create an app that you want to read everything that's in it. And I feel like one of my problems was that I would go to Reddit or open my RSS feed and I would dig through further crap to find the thing I actually wanted. And same thing with Twitter back in the day. And now you can put in work and make it so that it's more like the email that no one knows about. Anything that is in here is actually something you want to know about, at least in a for funsies sense, if not in a like I must know about this sense.
Yeah,
and
but
like other apps, like you can't do that in the Reddit app because they're not incentivized to allow you to do it.
right. I do hate the Reddit app. I downloaded the Reddit app recently and I hate that it sends me notifications about like random things. It's like, someone in this subreddit you never looked at posted this. Fuck you. Like, why are you sending me a notification? Yeah, that's nice. I had never considered this blocking words. Like I've heard about people doing that like on Mastodon or something, but I've never considered that as an option. Well, I guess I didn't really put 2 and 2 together for Tapestry, but I am intrigued because there are some like I follow like the, in my RSS feed, I follow like the Apple PR RSS feed, which is nice sometimes because you see the like, you
I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, it's like you can go to the press releases thing and like add it as an RSS feed. You see like you get the like spec sheet when they like post a new phone or something. But there's also things like the one I see in my feed right now is like Friday Night Baseball returns to Apple TV Plus on March 28th. And like, I don't care about like, that's an instant mark as read. But I could, just put Apple TV Plus in my ignore keywords. That'd be great.
Yeah, but Dan, if I filtered all the apps to be only good news, how would I have learned that Walgreens is closing on a deal with some creepy private equity firm to be bought off the public market to probably make things worse for all of us?
Well, did you block any of those words?
No, because I'm a glutton for punishment, Dan.
Well,
I love the bad
maybe
words.
you don't want to block those words.
No.
I think the how-to example on Polygon is a great example because they're publishing, like, as soon as a new video game comes out, they're publishing all these guides and how-tos. And if I have not purchased that game, I have no interest. And even if I have, I'm going to look up the information when I need it. I'm not going to idly read it while I'm like taking a crap. It might never be relevant to me.
Not taking a crap level quality.
No. We deserve better things to do on the toilet.
We deserve better things to... Like what?
I've been playing what is this game called? Oh, well, I have been really in my element. So apparently there's a New York Times-esque game called Immaculate Squares? Is that what it's called? Immaculate something? Actually, I'm going to Google it. Immaculate Grid. That's what it's called.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so apparently, is it always baseball? I didn't know this.
Well, other places have made variants. It started with sports, and now it's moved on to other things. I've seen it for like movies and...
It looks like the original is sports.
Yes.
But of course, someone made a Super Smash Bros. Melee Immaculate Grid.
Oh my god.
So now once a day on the toilet, this is
Come
something
on.
I do.
Look at this thing. I don't know what any of this is.
I've played for about a week, and I've only ever gotten one red square.
This is crazy.
What is it?
So this is one of those things, like, a couple times in my life, I've heard a jazz cover of a pop song, and I'd never heard the original pop song. And then many, many years later, I'll hear the original song, and I'll be like, wait a second. That sounds an awful lot like this other song, but with lyrics. So similarly, someone had posted this and I found it on Tapestry because I subscribe only to the Super Smash Brothers Reddit. And someone was like, it's Immaculate Grid, but for Super Smash Brothers. And I was like, I have no idea what that means. And I clicked on it, and I was like, wow, this is so much fun. So you have a grid, and I imagine the other one is fun too, if you know anything about baseball, which I do not.
Yeah.
You have a 3x3 grid, and along each axis is a quality, a property that a person, I guess, can have. And at the intersection of these two grids, or at these two rows and columns, you need to put in a specific person who meets those two properties. And you cannot reuse a person in any of the squares. So, like, right now...
Yeah, I have a baseball one up, so it's like a Red Sox player who played second base, and those are two that meet. I know you know this, Colby. Or a Red Sox player who has 200-plus wins in their career pitching. Or a player who was on both the Pirates and the White Sox. And you fill in the grid, but it's all about knowing the names of people.
Yeah. And so, for example, in the Smash one of the categories of qualities is like where someone lives. And so there are way more Smash players in the US than in other countries. And so if you get a row that is like, I had one that was in the UK or in Japan, there's a couple really good players from the UK and Japan, but you have to be really careful about what square you use them in, because there might be only one square there might be a square that only that person applies to, and you have to think of someone else to use for the other squares. It's fun.
Have you already done today's?
Yes.
No. I was going to make you do it on the show. No. All right.
No. Next time I'll try to remember to save it.
All right. Because this is like, I can't even,
So something I have done is I'll open it up in a new device, and I'll try to do it again without using any of the names that I used before.
Which you can do for some of these, which is crazy.
Yes.
Because it's not like there's one exact answer for many of them.
Yes.
I've listened to podcasts where they do like the sports ones on the podcast. And honestly, it's fun to listen to them try and figure it out. And they're like, oh, Bobby Culpepper, he both played for the Texans and had 50 sacks in a season. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds fun.
So yeah, that's my approach.
I find it very interesting, and I'm going to check out Tapestry.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make this an ad for Tapestry. This really started with I can't even.
Mm-hmm. And your Gmail filters.
And my Gmail. The Gmail filter thing is so key. I actually wondered, will Gmail tell me how many messages have been caught by a given filter? That would be interesting.
Probably.
Try to find that out. I like this idea of a centralized repository. Me too.
Well, Dan, please report back next week on any new terms you've added. It'll keep me in the loop in what's in the news.
I'll make an RSS feed, and you can subscribe and get notified when there are new terms. How about
Honestly, that is one of those like old school Twitter accounts that would have made me so happy. Where it's like, today, what did Dan block?
And you know it's working if you stop seeing the posts from the...
Can you erase Dan? Can I block Dan before he comes up with the term I'm going to block? I like it.
Oh, no, it won't tell me. That's too bad.
This is great. Well, keep us up to date, Dan, as you go down this brave new world of blocking out the negatives and keeping in the positives. We're all rooting for you. Well, guys, we're coming up on the end of the show here, unless there's anything else we want to... I'm going to push my topic to next week, so we have something to talk about then.
Do you want to preview it?
I mentioned it last time. I want to talk about lunch. I want to talk about what two work-from-home guys do for lunch every day. Because I go to work every day and I'm very bad about lunches. I eat lunch out, which is not good for me. Or I don't eat lunch at all, which is also not good for me. So I could use some lunch advice from the lunch guys.
Honestly, I could use some lunch advice too. So Colby, I'm prepared.
No pressure. But please help us.
Okay.
I did not get lunch today, so that's why I'm a little loopy. No, this is great. What a great amount of fun here. Of course, I can't let's get out of here without teasing our sister podcasts out there in the world, upfordebate.tv. We start March Madness this week, which I'm very excited. I don't know anything that's on the schedule, and Matt promised me he's actually planned things this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and of course, our movie league continues. We have the draft back in February. If you all didn't listen to the episode, these two guys are on it. It was a ton of fun over at upfordebate.tv or on YouTube. We only have 2 movies out now. Next one comes out mid-March, so we got a little ways to go, but stay tuned. A lot more to come throughout the year on that. And of course, Tomorrow is Canceled, which is Matt's podcast, which I'm kind enough to promote because I produce and edit it. It really is a great show if you're interested in video games and pop culture, in nerdy stuff that I don't know anything about. It's like when you two talk programming, these guys talk video games. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds fun. At thetomorrowiscanceled.com, I think was the URL I got, because the other one, just look for Tomorrow is Canceled wherever you get podcasts. It's a fun one. Great. Well, listen, this show is Don't Panic. You can check us out at don'tpanic.io. All the episodes are going to be there, audio and video on YouTube. Make sure you check that out. I'm told people now watch hour-long podcasts on YouTube, I guess is a thing. We were doing video 10 years ago before it was cool.
Yeah, we were doing it before it was cool, and we'll be doing it after it's not cool.
That could be this whole show. That could be that we've missed every trend by plowing right through it. But people should definitely subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can email us, don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion for a term Dan should block, let us know. We want to hear it. Could be interesting. Wonderful. Well, listen, we're going to put a pin in it here. But on behalf of Dan and Colby, I'm Shaun. Appreciate you being here. We're going to see you next time for another great episode of Don't Panic.